everyone, and welcome to SpongeBob's first 3D quest and his first adventure on the 6th generation consoles. For this revisit, we will be covering the PS2 version of Revenge of the Flying Dutchman as part of the SpongeBob LP Marathon. This is a game I grew up on with the GameCube version, having recently acquired a PS2 as well as a copy of this game. This is my first Let's Play of a PS2 game. Enjoy.
Games. THQ.
So once again, this is SpongeBob SquarePants Revenge of the Flying Dutchman console version. This is a revisit. I have LP'd the GameCube version and done a 100% walkthrough of it, and some of you might be surprised by the fact that I'm doing the PlayStation 2 version. Well, I'll get more into that later, but for now, let's start the game, shall we?
What a silly dream. Mr. Krabs had to close the Krusty Krab. Like that'd ever happen. I have the feeling today will be like no other day. Now, I wonder where Gary is. I should probably walk him before I go to work.
So although I have a lot to talk about in playing the PlayStation 2 version for this revisit as part of the SpongeBob LP Marathon, but we'll get more into that later because I want to get the game's story going, and also explain how the game works basically. Because this is one of those games where I can basically breeze through because I played it so many times over the past 17 years now. This game came out on November 21st, 2002. So yeah, about 17 years. So after playing this game for several years, it's just I can pretty much breeze through it. But let's get the story going.
Good morning, Gary. Wait till I tell you about my crazy dream where the Krusty Krab was closed and... Meow! Oh, you don't say. You had a dream too? Meow, 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 meow. That something really bad is gonna happen? Uh-huh. Meow, 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 meow. Whoa, that really is bad. Well, I know just the thing to cheer you up. I'll go fetch your favorite fetching stick.
So, we want to play Fetch with Gary, just like in the Game Boy Advance version, except this time we won't be going outside to take Gary on a walk or anything. We're just playing Fetch with him at our home. Honestly, it's how I would do it.
Your little friend Gary would like to play some fetch?
Yeah, I guess.
Very well. Then move next to his fetching stick and press the action button to pick it up. Then you can carry the stick to Gary and delight him.
Okay, question to all you people out there who have been watching this marathon up to this point. Do you find the Employee of the Month narrator more creepy than this one? Or do you still think that the narrator of this game is still the creepiest? Honestly, I wouldn't argue with you either way, because I felt the Employee of the Month's narrator was pretty creepy too. But yeah, this one's still... nightmare fuel, I guess.
You didn't think I was gonna leave for work without a quick game of fetch, did you, Gary? Now come on, boy! Go long! Longer! Longer! What did you dig up outside, boy? There's something written on it. I think it says, Damjer, Donut Alpine, Orelsi. I wonder what that means. Well, maybe we should see what's inside. Oh, don't be such a soggy sport, Gary. What harm can there be in just a little peek? Just what I always wanted, a muddy little bottle. Just think of all the fun we can have cleaning it. Here we go.
Arr! Who summons me from my endless slumber? I'll have your eyes for appetizers and your insides for dessert, for I am the Flying Dutchman.
Sorry about that. Just hop right back into your bottle and we'll bury you back out in the yard so you can...
Silence! I'll not return to that prison ever again. And what's this? You've gotten into my treasure, have you? Ooh, I hate it when someone messes with my doubloons. Now, what shall I do with ye lowly knaves who dared stir me up? Let me consult my rule book on ghostly doings. In the case of accidental discovery and wanton disruption of my booty, the perpetrators must serve for an eternity on my bloody crew. Well, I ain't never been out to sea with a talking cheese block before, but rules is rules, so I gotta take you with me. Are you ready?
Hold on there, Mr. Dutchman, sir. Technically speaking, it was not me who found you. Gary's the one who dug you up.
Ooh, that's a relief. This little varmint looks like he can do 10 times the work, if he can survive my hypnotic spell.
Oh, no, not Gary. That's not what I meant. Take me, not him.
Too late. My decision is made. Now I've got to check on the treasure stashed back on my ship to make sure no one's been spreading that around. But I'll return shortly to pick up my new crewmate. Say your farewells before I return.
Don't worry, Gary. I'll think of something, and it'll be the type of something that will save you. You can bet on it.
So basically, starting off, we have a similar premise to the Game Boy Advance version. We've woken the Flying Dutchman, but although this time we're not convinced that he's a genie and he's going to grant us free wishes or anything. But basically, yeah, we know that he's going to kidnap Gary, and we need to do something about that. But we're not quite sure yet. However, if you go to SpongeBob's bathroom, have a little Easter egg there. I believe there's like 3 or 4 different sound effects you can hear if you go in there over and over again. Now, these next sound effects that you're going to hear, these are actually taken from the Employee of the Month, as I found out recently, because Employee of the Month came before this game, so you have to keep in mind that, yeah, some of the sound effects and voice clips you hear in this game actually came from that game. So those actually came from the cutscene that's in between chapters 1 and 2 of Employee of the Month. And that's it. Well, that came from Operation Krabby Patty, the burping sound effects. That was Patrick in that game. And also, if you go over here and hit SpongeBob's TV...
Never fear, Mermaid Man, for you are not alone in your fight against injustice.
So on the PlayStation 2 version, you use the left analog control stick to move. It's the X button to jump, square to do a karate chop. That's your main attack. O doesn't do anything yet. Triangle also doesn't do anything currently. We'll get more on that later. If you hold the R1 button and then press the X button, you can do a super jump. This super jump is very, very helpful. I didn't know about this super jump for the first few years I played this game, but it's extremely helpful, especially later on in the game. It's practically required to use in order to get through this game for the most part. It's the most helpful move you have in the entire game for the most part. What's up, Gary?
Who's afraid of the big bad Dutchman? Not us.
I heard that.
I just can't get over the fact that they have Gary, you know, in his chatting, in his meowing animation when the Flying Dutchman's talking there. Is he speaking through Gary? Like, did he take control of Gary to say that to us? Or... yeah, I don't know. I can't think of any other explanation. So, yeah. Okay, so also you can't go out your back door.
Looks like something in my backyard is blocking the door.
There's a barrel just outside the storage, so you have to destroy that barrel from the other side in order to be able to take SpongeBob's back door. I don't know why they chose to block it off, but yeah, for some random reason they do. And after that, after exploring SpongeBob's kitchen, that's all of the doubloons. And now we are ready to exit SpongeBob's house. Alright, so outside here in Bikini Bottom, Bikini Bottom is the hub world of the game. There are a total of 7 worlds, I do believe. You can actually see them on here. If you want to scroll left or right, you can actually see future levels, but I'm not going to spoil you guys here. But including Bikini Bottom, there are a total of 7 worlds in the game. 6 if you don't want to count Bikini Bottom because it's more like the hub world. But basically, there is stuff to do here in Bikini Bottom, just like there is in all the other worlds of the game. You will see jellyfish flying around, but we can't do anything about them quite yet. But basically, in each world, you're going to go through and collect a bunch of the Flying Dutchman's doubloons. And you also have treasures and whatnot to get, but we'll get more on that later. I keep on hinting at future stuff we're going to talk about later, but trust me, we'll get all into that later on. But first thing you want to do is you want to jump up to these cliffs here, and our first objective will become very clear to us.
I really need to reach that other ledge, but I don't think I have it in me.
Don't be discouraged. You can do it. Press jump, then you can glide a bit farther if you press jump again before you land.
Don't be discouraged. You can do it. That creepy narrator, I swear. It's one of the things that people, like, as average as this game is, and we'll get more on that later too, people, the narrator thing is unforgettable.
Who would leave a letter tile sitting around like that? It's as if someone wanted me to find it.
That is no ordinary letter tile. It is a clue. Gather all the letters that spell your name, and you will have enough clues to find a hidden treasure.
Okay, so we're looking for treasure, and to find treasure, we need to collect clues, and these clues are in the form of letter tiles that spell out SpongeBob's name. So that's basically those are our main collectibles. Basically, they are the power stars, the jiggies, whatever you want to call them. That's basically this game. The letter tiles are this game's version of those things. And we just destroyed the barrel that's blocking our back door, so now we can take the back door outside of SpongeBob's house. But yes, so yeah, we have doubloons. We have Patrick over here. We'll talk to him later because I want to do that later. What I'm gonna try to do is do the layer tiles in order, basically, because there's a certain order of them. Our first one is jump to Vista Point, that's what we just did. There's get onto the Krusty Krab sign, we'll do that one next. So search through Krusty Krab storage, play hooky on the fishing hooks, get rid of the thug and the Krusty Krab, power jump near the chum bucket, and fix Patrick's antenna, gather 50 doubloons, and catch a jellyfish. So basically, this is your to-do list. Whenever you pause the game, this is what you'll see. And on the top right, you'll see a percentage of all doubloons and jellyfish and sand dollars you've gotten. There are no sand dollars again, Bikini Bombs, so that's why it's at 100% already. But basically, if you ever want to know what to do, like if you're lost and don't know what to do, just follow your checklist, basically. So yeah, we're going to head over to Krusty Krab next to jump on the sign. So, some of you might be wondering why I'm playing the PlayStation 2 version. I have quite a history with this particular game, the console version of Revenge of the Flying Dutchman. And we just got the 50 doubloons. Okay, so as far as the doubloons and jellyfish go, I'm not worried about getting those particular letter tiles out of order, but the other ones I'll try to get in order as much as possible. So here's our Krusty Krab sign P. We just got a P on the Krusty Krab sign. See what I did there? Okay. But yeah, as you guys know, I have quite a history with this game. Back in 2011, January to be exact, I did a 100% walkthrough of the GameCube version. And the first part of that walkthrough is still currently my most viewed, the most popular video on my channel, at almost 1.5 million views to this day. I still have a hard time believing that there is a video on my channel that has 1 million views, but that's what the case is. My walkthrough of this game is the most popular series I have on this channel. And, okay, so next we have Krusty Krab storage. So right next we're going to go inside the Krusty Krab. Now, normally I won't talk over loading screens, but I'm going to go ahead and do it here because I still have the story to tell. So yeah, I did the walkthrough back in 2011, early 2011, and it got an incredible, like, insanely huge following over the years. And finally, in 2013, I did a full Let's Play of the GameCube version once again. Because at the time of doing the 2011 Let's Play, that was around the same, well, at that point I wasn't still entirely set on doing walkthrough, or doing Let's Plays. I was still doing like walkthroughs occasionally. Although, to be fair, I think that was my very last uncommentary walkthrough. After that, I went to full-time doing Let's Plays. Well, not full-time, but, you know. So yeah, I did the walkthrough back in 2011 and the Let's Play in 2013. So here's our thug. Wait. Oh yeah, we have Hooky next. Well, I'm just gonna go ahead and collect all the doubloons here real quick. I mean, like, obviously we're gonna have to come back into the Krusty Krab anyways for the jellyfish. Although, actually, coming here without the you-know-what makes it easier to destroy these barrels to get doubloons. A lot of times when you see barrels throughout this game, you want to karate chop them because you'll see there'll be doubloons inside of them. But yeah, I did I did the Let's Play and the walkthrough of the GameCube version. Over the years, I heard, especially from you guys, that the PS2 version was particularly infamous because it had a loading glitch that could actually crash the game. Basically, sometimes when the game is loading a new area, like for instance me loading the Krusty Krab or loading outside SpongeBob's house and just stuff like that, those long 20-second loading screens. This particular version, the PS2 version, is infamous for crashing during those loading screens, and we have another one coming up here. So because I knew about the loading screen crash on the PS2 version, I felt fortunate to have the PS2 version. By the way, over here, if you want to slam this button... Oh, wait, yeah, that's what the O button does. I forgot. So, basically, the O button is simply for doing a belly slam while in the air. So you press the X button to jump, and then press O to do the belly slam. And with that, we have our changing tent, and we have the first costume of the game, the fishing gear costumes. Now, costumes are the main gimmick of this game, basically. Your abilities are linked to costumes, and they are essentially your main the most important thing you need to get through this game. Not only that,
Mr. Krabs warned me about playing hooky, but they look so fun. Maybe just one quick ride while no one's looking.
Ah, you little troublemaker. Those hooks can be very dangerous, but I promise not to tell if you use your fishing net to hang from them. That's the only safe way to do it.
Okay, so whenever we see these hooks that Mr. Krabs warned us about from the episode Hooky, what you do is you simply jump up to them and you press the square button with your jellyfish net, or your fishing gear, or whatever you call it, and you'll grab onto the hook using this method. This is the only way you can use the hooks. You can't actually grab onto them like without the fishing gear. So basically you need the fishing gear to use these hooks. But this is not the only thing you'll need the fishing gear for. But here's the thing. So you also need the fishing gear in order to catch jellyfish, obviously. Because obviously you need a net in order to catch jellyfish. And jellyfish are one of the main collectibles of this game, next to doubloons. You need, and you're going to want to collect a lot of them because you need them for certain missions later on in the game. Actually, you're going to need them to progress. Twice, actually, you're going to need jellyfish to progress further on in this game, beyond them being one of your to-do list menu option, or one of your letter tiles. There's a certain amount of jellyfish in every single world of the entire game.
Tartar sauce. Clams in the trash again. Looks like Mr. Krabs will have to call the exterminator.
Do not be so hasty, for these clams are just a part of the cycle of life. When a clam shuts its mouth, you can jump onto it and launch very high. Sometimes, valuable things are hidden in high places.
So just like in the Game Boy Advance version, whenever you see clams, you can bounce on them to get to higher places. However, in this game, not only that, but they don't eat you. They are 100% harmless in this version. They can't hurt you in any way whatsoever. And now we're gonna start catching jellyfish. So okay, so yeah, more on the fishing gear costume. As you can imagine, you're gonna be wearing this fishing gear costume for pretty much 85 to 90% of this game, because you need it in order to collect one of the main collectibles, jellyfish. So essentially, there is hardly any incentive to wear any costume but the fishing gear costume. The other 2 costumes that we'll be unlocking in the changing tents, you use them for like 1 or 2 missions max per level, but the rest of the time you need the fishing gear costume like anytime you're exploring this game because you need it in order to catch jellyfish, and you need it for the hooks too. But the simple fact that they're required for jellyfish means that you're going to be wearing this costume pretty much for the entirety of the game almost. Now, this wouldn't be such a big problem. Well, it kind of is a problem, essentially, because it basically obsoletes... It almost obsoletes all the other costumes. It makes it... It basically gives you hardly any incentive to wear any of the other costumes. You hardly ever use the other costumes, so there's already like some inconsistency with the usefulness of the costumes. So that's a problem on its own. But guess what? The music in this game is linked to the costumes. There are only 9 tracks in this entire game, which is a big deal because this is a fairly, I mean, it's not that long of a game. It takes about the same, it's about as big as in terms of length, it takes about the same amount of time to beat this game as does Luigi's Mansion. And Luigi's Mansion, as you know, is not a very long game either. But this game only has 9 tracks in total in its soundtrack. And don't get me wrong, these are great songs. The composer for this game is clearly a talented guy, and I cannot commend him enough for making such great songs. But here's the thing. Although they are great songs, the fishing gear costume, the music that you hear with the fishing gear costume, you're going to be hearing it for 90% of the game because you're wearing the fishing gear costume for 90% of the game. So you're going to be hearing the same songs over and over and over and over again. Don't get me wrong, once again, they are great songs, and the fishing gear costume song is also really great. But you hear it pretty much over and over again for the vast majority of the game. That's the big problem with having the songs linked to costumes, and one of the costumes being required for 90% of the game. And so that's a major flaw in the game design that people talk about, is the repetitiveness of the music, as good as it is. So that's a flaw of this game alone. But the PS2 version suffers extra because the PS2 version, as I mentioned before, is notorious for a loading glitch. And for that reason, I held off on getting the PS2 version of this game. Now, I already intended on getting a PS2 eventually and also getting this game because I loved the PS2 growing up. I didn't have one, but my stepbrothers had one, so I shared it with them. And we didn't have a lot of games for it. We didn't have any SpongeBob games for it, that's for sure. But as I got older, after high school, I intended to collect video game consoles and video games in general. And obviously that included all SpongeBob games, especially for this marathon. And I was especially interested in getting the Xbox version of Battle for Bikini Bottom for the revisit, which is coming up right after this LP. Spoiler alert. So I got an Xbox, and I got Battle for Bikini Bottom on Xbox. Which actually, and the Xbox actually wasn't expensive. It was like $100 off of Amazon, and it was free, and it was a refurbished one too. So I played that. I got the Xbox. I got Battle for Bikini Bottom. And I tested it out, and it worked great. And some people were telling me about an issue with the Xbox version of that game too. But that's not the point. The point is, I happened to have extra money lying around, so I got the refurbished PS2, and I got this game. And I decided to give it a try, do a test playthrough of the game, to see if I would have that loading glitch. And I did not encounter the loading glitch once in an entire playthrough of this game, a 100% playthrough. And so for that reason, I decided it would be okay for me to LP the PS2 version for the revisit as part of this marathon. And so that's why I'm playing the PS2 version for you today. Now, as for differences between the PS2 and the GameCube version, we'll get more into those later. But for now, Patrick is pacing back and forth in front of his house. Wonder what's going on.
Gee, Patrick, is everything okay?
Not okay, not okay. Something fell on my roof and now my TV doesn't work. I can't get up there to fix the thingy and I'm missing all my favorite shows. No.
Oh, that's too bad. I wish there was something I could do to help.
But there is. You can get up there if you try. Hold the duck button, then press the jump button to reach high places.
What are you waiting for, SpongeBob? I'm missing my shows. A real buddy would get up there and make my life complete again.
Oh, barnacles.
Okay.
Alrighty, looks like I found your problem. There's a big thingy on your thingy, and it's all bent out of shape. But it looks too big for me to move.
You don't need to move it when you can simply break it apart. Face the container and press the action button to karate chop it.
Oh yeah, I guess we're probably gonna want the. I mean, like you can break it if you want to using the belly slam, like I did before with other barrels. But just for the heck of it, we'll change back to the SquarePants. But yeah, we were already on top of Patrick's house before, but I didn't want to break the barrel. He had to, you know, break the mission. Obviously, what would happen is we would just skip. We would miss that dialogue that was just playing. But anyways, you just simply destroy the container. There you go. That's it. That's all you got to do. And somehow Patrick's antenna just, you know, just flips right back into shape, basically, immediately when you destroy it. Now, already, we have 92% of the jellyfish and 95% of the balloons. Oh yeah, actually, one more thing before we talk to Patrick.
Now that's not very scary. How does Squidward expect to protect his garden with that?
True, it is not scary when it sits still, but it's really something when it moves. Do you see that little fan nearby? You can blow on the fan with your reef blower to activate the mechanism.
So we don't have the reef blower yet, and the reef blower is actually the last costume that we unlock, so we're not going to be able to do this for quite a while. But, needless to say, the last, where is it? I'm trying to make the, whoops. Oh, select, here we go. So, yeah, if you press select on the PS2 controller, you can bring up your stats. Basically, we have 128 doubloons. There are a total of 134 in Bikini Bottom. And the last 6 are achieved by using the reef blower on this wheel right here, and they'll reveal the last 6 doubloons. Also, there are a total of 14 jellyfish in Bikini Bottom. The last jellyfish does not appear until later on, basically, until we've done a certain part of the story. So basically, we are just about done with Bikini Bottom once we get our last lair tile from Patrick here. And we're going to do what's next in the next episode, basically. I'm going to have sort of a cliffhanger here. But basically, yeah, I just want to explain why I'm doing the PS2 version and the, you know, some of the flaws of the game, like the music and whatnot. But yeah, we'll get more on that later. So anyways, let's talk to Patrick.
Whoa! My TV is fixed! You saved me from thinking, SpongeBob!
Save your gratitude, my jolly pink friend. It's all in a day's work for a sponge such as I. But, maybe you can help me with a problem that I'm having. You see, it all started this morning when Gary and I were playing fetch.
Oh, on second thought, who wants to stay at home and watch TV on a day like this? I'm going downtown to see the new construction site. Maybe you could meet me there, and we'll play Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. Last one, there's a nematode.
So one last thing I want to mention before I pick up this last art time we end off this episode. And as we see Patrick running off in the distance. As far as the issue with the music goes in this game, I'm going to do something different with this Let's Play. I have the music completely off on my file for this particular Let's Play. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be playing music, like I'm going to basically manipulate the music in this game. So that it's not the fishing gear music playing over and over and over again. But one thing I will say about the PS2 version over the GameCube version is that it doesn't restart the music every single time you do something, like talk to a character, pause the game, stuff like that. In the GameCube version, it would reset the music back to, like, it would restart the music, basically. But in this version, they fixed that. Well, they didn't fix it. This version came first, on November 21st, and the GameCube version came December 18th. Okay, whatever. Let's pick up this last letter tile. I will see you guys next time for what happens next. Except I forgot about the last letter tile by the shell bucket. Wow. I'm such an idiot. I am such an idiot. That's one of the letter tiles that's out in the open. How could I miss that one? See, even after all these years, I still make mistakes with this game. So yeah, basically, I'm going to be playing one song, well, not one song per world, basically, but basically I'll be changing the music, and basically I have complete control over the music, but I'll be playing the music from the game, obviously, because we need to, but yeah, it's going to be not the same music over and over again, basically. I'm going to try and fix that. So, here we go. Let's pick this last letter tile. I will see you guys next time for some more Revenge of the Flying Dutchman on PlayStation 2. Hey guys, thanks for watching this episode of Revenge of the Flying Dutchman. I'd like to give a special shout out to currently my only patron, JC the Texas Scratcher. If you like what you see, consider supporting me on Patreon and subscribing and clicking the like button for notifications. See you guys in the next video tomorrow. Bye.